GI Customs. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Number 4 in the Classified series Tomahawk production build here. So go through everything as we do it today. Let me know again in the comments if you enjoy the commentary, don't enjoy the commentary. I'll adjust as I go for other projects. But this week I got pretty far in this. There's still going to be one more episode after this, mainly because I'm still waiting on a few things to finish this up. But without further ado, what I'm getting into here on screen is getting the propellers ready for some paint. So on all of these Tomahawks I do yellow ends on the propellers. I did some research on propellers for military helicopters, and for some reason I thought that they had all kinds of stripes and different things, and in reality most of them do not. Most of them don't even have the yellow ends on them. Most of them are just black. However, I think it was the first one of these I did the yellow ends on. I just really liked it, so I've continued that for the time being. Though, as I've said before, every one of my projects is unique. I'm always adding stuff to it, making it better the second time around, stuff like that. So here, I taped off the ends, did it all the same distance back, and then do a quick spray of black on there, again to seal that line so I can get a nice crisp line when I start painting colors later. While I had some extra black in the airbrush, didn't want to dump it out or anything. I did have these the side guns off to the side that needed to be sprayed black anyways. So all those pieces I had there, so I clipped those up real quick and went ahead and used the rest of the black to spray those. I try to do that whenever I can instead of wasting paint. If I've got something to use it on and I put a little too much in, go ahead and take care of something else even if I wasn't intending it. So from here, I do a quick coat of gray primer. Yellow, at least the yellows I have, are all a little thin. So going straight over black would either not work at all or would take way too many coats. So definitely I do a primer underneath, even though I just hit it with black. That wasn't really to prime it. So just a nice gray primer, nothing crazy. Go over all the edges, and then here's my first round of yellow. I do 2 different rounds of yellow, but get it nice and even. It's not going to be perfect. It's a 3D print, but it comes out good in the end for sure. You'll be able to see that here. See from this angle, I did a little different angle this week. You see my test area over there behind my hands. That's why I always spray. If you've got cleaner or thinner or anything in there, the first couple squirts out of an airbrush are usually that clear, transparent liquid instead of the paint. So it's always nice to have a little area you can spray test. So here's my second coat of yellow. You can see how it's really thickening up and getting a nice good coat. So the first one was an airbrush yellow, I believe, by Vallejo, and then the second one I did actually it's a slightly darker yellow, but it's an ink, so it works really well in the airbrush without thinning it or anything like that. From there, so something I added here. So this is designed by Steve's Toys. I bought the rights and stuff, commercial rights from him to produce and sell these, but his intention in his design was the pins for all of these to go in, so they're attached to the rotors. After my first one, I felt those pins were a little weak, thin. I felt like it was going to be a break point for customers. Could break in shipping, or it'd have to be something customers would have to assemble once they got it. So I made the choice to switch that up, and instead I put magnets in. So you'll see here I put them in all the propellers, and then I put them in the actual rotor assembly itself. And once the end customer gets this, those will just pop right in. There's a little bit of friction, so it holds it in there, just plastic to plastic, but then the magnets hold it in pretty good. You can fold them back if you need to or anything like that. Something I started doing, like I said, with the last one. Works out pretty good. Here are the guns that I painted earlier. So those I don't print out of regular plastic on an FDM printer. Instead, I print those out of resin. I feel like for the tolerances and everything of the pins, and then the detail in the guns, I feel like that it just does better that way. Even with those tight tolerances and better fitment of the resin, still need to go in and grind out, open up some of the holes and sand down some of the pegs and stuff so they fit well and so that they can move, not too loose, but loose enough that customer and myself shouldn't be breaking anything by moving around a little bit. So that's what I'm doing here. I could use a hand file or a Dremel tool. I use this little rotary rechargeable drill and just kind of hit the edges of the inside of all of them. The drill bit seems to do better and just a faster job, at least than a file for sure, though you can see I have files there off to the side. And a Dremel tool is just a little clunky. I usually use those for sanding or cutting or something like that. But nice little handy tool. I'll try to remember to put that down in the description below because it is nice. I've used it a couple times for holes, actually drilling through things, but then also stuff like this, reaming things out. It also comes with a little attachment for a small saw blade. I've used that a few times. Don't use it a ton, but when I need a straight cut on a small piece of plastic, sometimes I'll pop that out just because it's nothing too crazy. It doesn't have the crazy high RPMs like a Dremel or other rotary tool does, but enough to cut through, thin plastic. It's nothing crazy. I'm not cutting through metal or anything like that. So again, you can see I assembled one there. These will attach right inside the helicopter and then be able to swing around a little bit. And I keep them on the stiffer side. Don't make them too loose, but make sure that they can be moved, but then also be posed in a set spot, and aren't going to just flop around or anything like that. While we're waiting here, finishing this up, I want to mention, so I don't forget, to subscribe, like these videos. It really helps me, it really helps YouTube get these videos to new people. Also helps me to continue to produce these videos and stuff like this, assuming everyone likes them. But anytime you can like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification button, anything like that, I'd greatly appreciate it. I am still seeing, like I said before, somewhere between 60 and 70% of people that watch aren't subscribed. So assuming you like it, maybe there's a good number of people that are watching and don't like it, but the numbers don't seem to be supporting it that way. So definitely subscribe. That way you'll see the new videos when they come out. You'll be notified of them. But also that helps YouTube know that people are watching it, and then it also helps the algorithms to reach out and get to new customers based off of all those subscribers you currently have. It'll go out and find new people that have similar interest. So it helps me and helps other people. So if you could take a second here, whether you have to pause it or just go into your settings or whatever and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. Moving on here, I do some dry brushing of silver on these guns. I mean, obviously it's going to take them from looking like plastic to looking more like metal. That's really the only thing I do on these guns. There's enough detail and they're small enough that I don't really put any other colors into them. Just some of the silver dry brushing really makes them pop and stand out, and once they're in the helicopter they look fantastic. Any of the small things like this, I do everything I can to put detail in, but at the same time the guns on the side shouldn't be taking away from the overall picture anyway, so there's really no need to put further colors in this section, in my opinion. So both of those went back a little bit. Didn't feel they matched as far as level of dry brushing on them, so made sure they matched the best I could. Moving on here, some more detail. So one thing I do on most of my projects, definitely did it on helicopters that I've done here, is I paint panels a slightly different color than the main color of the body. So to me, the realism side is, the story in my head, right, is that maybe at some point, they got damage on this panel, had to replace it. The panel they replaced it with wasn't an exact match in color anymore, so they got it close. Again, military stuff like that, they don't really care as long as it's close enough and it serves a functional purpose. They'll go ahead and move forward with it. It looks real different here when I do the exterior wash next week. It'll blend in a little more. Won't be quite such a drastic difference in color, but you'll still be able to tell it's a different color. Again, to me, that that adds that little level of realism in it that maybe not everyone would think about. But when you're looking at stuff, even next time you Google search a helicopter or military aircraft or ship or anything like that, if you look close enough, there are different color panels on it that from afar you're never going to be able to tell, but when you're actually looking at the details, there are different color panels. So one of the things, the outside wash, I was planning on doing that this week, but one thing I like to do before that is put all the decals on. And that's part of the reason this won't be done this week, is I could swear that I ordered decals and had them sitting aside for this, and I cannot for the life of me find them anywhere. So either I'm going to find them here at some point as soon as I get the other ones I just ordered, or I'm thinking of something else and never ordered them. I don't know. But I had to kind of take a pause on this for a second and wait on some decals. So I was doing all the details and everything I possibly could before I get the decals. So again, I like to do the last wash after I get the decals so that they blend in a little more to the overall aesthetic and look of the vehicle. That way the decals have a little bit of wash and a little bit of weathering and wear and tear on them as well. So I ordered those. I use Bad Mother Customs off of eBay. They do a great job of decals. They've got a whole sheet just for 1/12 Tomahawk. Now, I don't use every decal on there. There's a lot. They do I believe an exact copy in the bigger scale of the original toy sticker sheet. If you pay attention to the old toys, the sticker sheets have a whole lot of stickers on them. I disagree that they need all of them, but I do a fair amount of them, so that'll be in next week's episode. I did get that ordered. It should be here either sometime this weekend or early next week. Hopefully they do a pretty good job of getting it out there. So I'll try to leave a link in the description for that as well. You need decals for any of your stuff. Now they do water slides, not straight stickers, so if you need help on how to do that or something, let me know. Maybe I can do an instructional video, but they're not difficult. You just got to have a few supplies and some patience and put them on there, but they look better than just a sticker, in my opinion. If you cut them right, do it right, they blend right in, look almost like they're painted on. So get those next week, and then I'll be able to finish that up. So really after today, doing some of these fine details like this, I'm really just waiting on a little bit of final assembly, decals, the outside wash, and then so those will be in next week, but then the glass as well. I print my own resin glass and finish it. It is a pain in the butt. However, I am getting better at it. The amount of work that goes into the clarity of glass is just insane. I've looked at getting outside people to do that for me and kind of farm that out. However, I found that it's very expensive. So it is a lot of work. I don't discount the people I've reached out to, and I won't name any names on it of what they charge, but I can't eat that cost as part of one of these projects. I just don't have enough in them, regardless of what people think, to eat several $100s in just glass. And I'm definitely not passing that on to the customer unless they really want to. I can do a pretty good job myself. It's just going to take some time, take some hours. So that'll be next week. Here you can see I'm fitting on the propellers. They clip right in there. The magnet holds them in place, so anytime you're storing it, anything like that, those aren't going anywhere. They're not going to have any issues. And just so that everyone gets a scale of what we got going on here, because I know it's difficult sometimes. Edge to edge on propellers, so how wide this is just under 30 inches. So when I say these things are big, they are absolutely huge. Appreciate you, and I'll see you next week.